Hi, it's January 4th, 2012. I'm Peter Martinson. With me is Lyndon LaRouche, Sky Shields from the LaRouchePAC basement team, and Matthew Ogden from LaRouchePAC TV. This is the weekly report.
All right, now the point is, our job, and I don't know anybody on this planet who's undertaken this job before, which we've undertaken. Our job is to understand not only that this guy, Obama, is an evil British agent, clinically insane, actually, British agent, but that his insanity is being used by the British Empire, and the British Empire is actually a global monetarist empire. So the monetarist system is controlling this process. Our problem is to eliminate the monetarist system. There's only one way to do that. Let me just go through this, because this is, I think, crucial to set the whole thing, which is what we've been discussing. The only thing we can do that can save the United States and save civilization right now is, and which I've discussed yesterday, what we have to do, first of all, is that we have to shut down this financial system. We have to reorganize it. And that means, first of all, we have to go with Glass-Steagall first. The United States must go with Glass-Steagall, and there must be no reforms. It must be the Roosevelt-Glass-Steagall Act, with every jot and tittle in it, is just a simple repetition of Roosevelt's Glass-Steagall Act. No changes. Because if you start to change it, then people are going to start negotiating adjustments. Once you go into adjustments, you're not going to have Glass-Steagall anymore. So you have to take the strict Glass-Steagall Act. Now what that will do, eliminate most of the Wall Street type of banks. They will be gone. Who cares? Glass-Steagall will take care of the problem. Then we have to go with another step, because there won't be enough money left in circulation to meet the needs of the American people, just by Glass-Steagall alone. So therefore we have to go back to our Constitution, which is a credit system, not a monetarist system. Under a monetarist system, we cannot save the United States, even with Glass-Steagall, because there won't be enough money left, viable money left in the system to save the nation, to save the people. To save the people, we have to eliminate the monetarist system entirely. And that we do that by replacing the British system, or the imperial system, which is a monetary system, replace the monetarist system by a credit system, which is the specification in the Constitution of the United States. The way we do that is we replace all this crap. The Federal Reserve System, in fact, is totally bankrupt. You cannot save it. There's nothing left in it. It's gone. They killed it in the past several years. What we have to do is go to a national bank, which is associated with the first and second proposal for a national bank by Hamilton. A national bank will allow us to create sufficient credit to save the nation and put us on a basis of growth. And that's where we have to go. We have to go to a national banking system, a credit system, which allows us to provide sufficient credit in the system to get a genuine rapid regrowth of the U.S. economy. And that will be the model for the regrowth of other parts of the world.
Right, and the real revolution is the extension of this Hamiltonian system to the entire planet.
Right.
And as you've made the point, I mean, the three powers, the alliance between the United States, Russia, and China, is a bloc which is strong enough to crush the British monetarist empire.
Absolutely.
And that's the target of this thermonuclear war.
Look at the potential in our relationship to Russia today under this government. You look at the potential which is inside China. They're trying to work things out. But if we work it out for us among ourselves, China will find that it agrees with that. We have a happy development in Korea. We have a happy potential now in Japan. We have a potential in other parts of Eurasia. We can actually save civilization. But what we're going to have to do is use our heads, not as more than our mouths, to get a global system started, which would be based on an alliance of cooperation of the United States, immediately, Russia, China. Japan's automatically in it, Korea's automatically in it, and so forth. That change will eliminate from this planet the monetarist system which is killing us. Once we do that, we're ready to go on to what we must do. We must go on to nearby space. But from that standpoint, because we don't start with the right standpoint on Earth, the political economic standpoint on Earth, you won't succeed in anything galactic. But now we should get to the galactic system.
Right. That's fair. Yeah. Well, I think another thing that should be just emphasized is to get going, we got to get Obama out of office, because you look at him. Everything that the guy's done since he's been in office has been as a British agent to destroy the ability of the United States to function as a promoter and developer of new discoveries and advancement for humanity. So you get rid of him, and then that is the beginning of the setup of a real credit system in the United States and the rest of the world. And then we can start to do what we need to do, because the exploration of space by man is not an option. It's crucial for what you could call the strategic defense of the human species. We have to go out into the solar system with people and investigate how the whole thing functions, because our knowledge of the whole system is very limited if we remain on the Earth, where it's kind of like you only have one eyeball instead of a variety of sense perceptions. We need to get out into the system to start to see how does the whole thing function as a whole. Because, the threat that we're running into right now is that the whole solar system is blowing up. You have the storms on Saturn. You have storms exploding on Uranus. Mars is right now exhibiting storm features, along with our planet, which is having these very wild swings of extreme weather. And extreme weather is that you have wild swings. Like 2 weeks ago, Florida was experiencing very, very an anomalously hot, a hot winter. But now it's experiencing a hard freeze going all the way down to the Keys. So it's going to destroy various crops and things like that. So on our planet, we're facing the same explosion of extreme events that our whole system is experiencing. The sun also is experiencing very strange ebbs and flows of activity, which are right now not explainable by whatever theories we've got. But the only way to understand and then harness some of that activity, and you could say protect ourselves from it, is to recognize that the way species continue to exist on our planet is that they stay ahead of the curve of an anti-entropically developing universe. That the universe as a whole is developing towards higher states of energy flux density, and the organisms that can't keep up with that, get thrown in the trash bin of geological history. So the way you could defend species, defend our species, is by staying ahead of the curve, by advancing our knowledge, by getting out into space. And the only way you can do that is by launching a credit system, which is how you can begin to invest in those types of future development that are implied by all that.
That's the imperial system. The imperial system is, remember what it is, the motive is a few people run the world. They're the gods. The idea of gods, as in the ancient Greek, the gods are the oligarchs. And the people generally are the animals, who are not allowed to realize human potential or exercise human potential in policy. The Peloponnesian Wars are the example of that. I mean, Homer's Peloponnesian War gives you the exact picture. But this has been the picture to all empires, including the Roman Empire and the descendants of the Roman Empire, including the British Empire. Like the zero growth. Like the environmentalist movement. The environmentalist movement is a reversion to the imperial system of mass killing of people. The British Empire, what? The British today, the British monarchy, and this whole class around the British monarchy are committed to what? To reduce the world's population from presently 7 billion people to less than 1. That's the policy. The environmentalists, or the so-called green movement, is exactly that. If we accept the green policy on Earth, the human race will be extinct in a very short time. Therefore, the time has come, you've got to eliminate this kind of stuff and understand that this is the problem.
Right.
That what's killing us is the fact that zero population growth. Well, let's do it the other way. If you don't accept the green idea, which is based on a fixed, sterile level of population growth, if you don't accept that, what do? You have to go out beyond Earth because you have this population. Well, what's the intention of having this population growth? Without this population growth, the human species will be extinct and will disappear. With population growth, it means the imperative is like going to Mars. Now, the idea of colonizing Mars right now, in the minds of most people, is not a meaningful operation. They don't understand it. But if we look at it from our standpoint, from a science driver standpoint, we have the ability to increase our power per capita by orders of magnitude. Right. Through the attempt to colonize Mars, which is the only nearby planet we could possibly touch at this point. We're not going to move people up there in great numbers now, but we're going to find out that we can develop something on Mars which will create a new environment on Mars which we can make suitable to human beings under new conditions, new scientific conditions.
I think one thing, going back to the Crab Nebula, I think the Crab Nebula should be looked at right now as maybe a target of advancement, because the Crab Nebula right now represents the most energy-dense function in the galaxy that we know of right now.
That's all the data in when the Crab Nebula was first noticed.
Yeah, we saw it in about 1054. Yeah. The Chinese noticed it, and maybe other people around the planet saw it for several days.
All right, this is the driver of the galaxy, if at least what we know of it.
Right.
And it's on the move. I mean, we had this, people remember from the discussion we had on this here earlier, but you take a look at the this was just last year, April of last year. This is looking at the Crab Nebula right here in the gamma ray frequency. You had, over the span of just hours, you had a flare up and a die down to levels of energy that we've never seen in a single, if it's being produced by the known causes we can think of for producing gamma rays of this energy, then you're talking about levels of energy you've never seen in another astronomical body before. Yeah. And this is in our very own neighbor, and this is just this last year. This is very recent. Its birth is recent, again, within human history. I keep saying younger than the pyramids. I mean, we joked it's actually exactly the same age as the schism between the Eastern Orthodox and the Roman Catholic churches. That's when you have the date of it. So this thing is young, quite young.
That's fascinating. I mean, people don't think about the galaxy changing in historical time.
Then take the biological history
right
on Earth that we know.
Right.
That's finite too.
Right.
You're talking about a 500 million years, right? A trivial thing in terms of the galaxy.
Right. No, you take a look at, we've done these maps of looking at the actual oscillation above and below the plane of the galaxy that's been projected. And if you realize, it's useful to look at that whole course of our solar system's motion through the galaxy, and then to compare that to the amount of time that life's has existed on the planet. Down
and according to the current assumptions, multiple celled life on the Earth is really only 2 galactic years old. We've maybe made it around the galaxy twice.
Right.
In that time.
Yeah. Right. He's got a very few number, 2 of these rotations, so several of these humps. The amount of time that we've been here we're sort of slightly above the plane right now. And by this model, slightly above the plane, the amount of time we've been here has been within that tiny, tiny bit of an arc. Out of that whole span of time, we've occupied, as a humanity, that tiny, tiny space. As you pointed out earlier, the place that we happen to occupy is sort of right around the region that in the past you've seen these major extinction events. We still have no idea what they are. So, we appear on the scene very late and in a race against time.
We do have an indication, though. We have an indication in terms of energy flux density.
That's the one thing we know for certain, which is what matters, right? Outside of all the predicates.
That's right. Why did the dinosaurs get killed? because look at those ratios.
Right.
You see exactly why mammal species, which were tiny at that point, were able to live where the dinosaurs just died out like that.
Right.
And it was a matter of energy flux density.
And especially when you measure the whole system. You take a look at the system of the dinosaur, fern, etc.
The dinosaur was not a species that was fit to live. It was too inefficient. It was a big, bulky thing, but very inefficient, very low order of magnitude of capability.
Right.
They had to eat enormous amounts. They almost killed themselves trying to eat.
They were greenies.
Yeah, they're greenies. They're really greenies.
Then you look at the upgrade, the sort of the post-KT boundary upgrade, and you look at everything. The development of flowering plants, the development of energy-dense fruits. I mean, most people don't think of fruits as an amazing technological development, but for the biosphere, that's quite an impressive shift. And exists to fuel the development of mammals.
Exactly.
To fuel the development, the introduction of mammals, birds. Birds are also there in order to fuel the existence of fruits, spreading of seeds, etc.
It's like the first chapter of Genesis.
Okay, I'll take it.
Well, but I mean because human beings are a transcendental species. Human beings are a species above all of those individual species, if freed from the oligarchical
Because
ideology.
only mankind among all known living species has the willful capability of changing its own species characteristics. Right. And that's exactly where we go to Mars. It's a change in the physical characteristics of which human beings live. And human beings develop the environment which is suited to them. And that's what we've been doing all along. We're going to do it again with the Mars colonization.